Hello. Welcome. It is another Wisdom Wednesday, and I got it right today, so I'm excited that I actually managed to say it right, you guys, because y'all know it has been a struggle for me to actually say that name right. Hello. So welcome again to another Wisdom Wednesdays. Today we are going to be talking about setting boundaries. And today I'm going to talk explicitly about business boundaries. But just know that the conversation translates business or personal life. Boundaries are necessary. And so I wanted to talk about this because I think as small business owners, entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, if you don't have a team, we can find it really hard to set boundaries in business because if it's just us, a lot of times, of course, we're the ones who are doing everything. How much money we make depends on how hard we're working, how much we're reaching out to clients, how much, our customer service is, how much we're providing for our clients. And so it can become difficult to set boundaries when you have your own business. But it's so important because boundaries let people know what is and is not acceptable behavior that you will and will not tolerate. And it prevents things like burnout from happening. I think when we are our own bosses and it's hard to set time limits to do things, it's hard to stop working because, it's just us. And, if you don't have a day job, you can work whenever you want. So it's hard to set those boundaries when you have your own business, but it's necessary, especially for things like preventing burnout. Burnout happens so quickly, and a lot of times it's because we do not have boundaries. And so what do boundaries look like when it comes to business? Let's talk about it. For me, boundaries mean that I don't really answer emails on the weekend. Now, notice how I said I don't really. I do sometimes, but I've set my own personal boundary that pretty much on the weekend, I don't really deal with business things. My husband, as you guys know, he's a police officer. He's only off Fridays and Saturdays. So those are the days that we have family day. And then Sundays, it's just my son and I, after my husband goes to work, it's my son and I in the afternoon. And so that's, me and my son, our own personal time together. So I try not to Friday, Saturdays, and Sundays really do a lot of work. Fridays, of course, is still a work day for me. But Saturdays and Sundays, for the most part, I'm not really working. You don't really see me on Instagram that much. I don't post that much. I might post in my stories. I don't really respond to client emails unless it's like I need something pretty like right now. Can you please help me with this? And if it's someone I like, then I'll respond quicker. But for me, boundaries mean pretty much weekends. I don't deal with clients. That also means that after a certain time of day, I don't deal with clients. So I set my calendar. I have a booking calendar, and I do it so that the last appointment that you can book with me on any given day is around 5:00. That's on purpose. I am available after 5:00. Most times I'm on my way to go pick up my son, and my husband's not home yet. And in weeks like today, my son is over his Mimi's house. And so I don't have anybody. Nobody will be here at 5:00. I won't be doing anything except for probably sitting in front of my TV watching Netflix. But that doesn't mean that I'm going to spend that time dealing with clients. That's my time. That's time for me to wind down. It's time for me to get dinner ready. It's time for me to go get my son if that happens. So I make sure that I also have set office hours. I'm not going to respond to you before a certain time in the morning, normally between 8 and 9 a.m. And you're not really going to hear from me after about 5:30, 6 o'clock. And you definitely won't be able to have a meeting with me after about 5 o'clock in the evening, unless it's a special circumstance and I put it on my calendar. So those are also boundaries that are really important to set. Set what your office hours are going to be. Set when you stop working, what days you're not going to work. We don't need to work 24/7. The hustle culture, as much as it's a good thing for pushing people to work and go for their dreams, it's also very detrimental to mental health and self-care. Because if you're always hustling, going, you don't leave room for self-care. And so you don't leave room to take care of yourself. You don't leave room to take a break. And so you want to try and set boundaries. And that means limiting when you'll talk to clients, limiting when you'll have meetings. You want to make sure that you're setting those types of boundaries because they are really important. So first off, make sure that you have some sort of office hours in place. Let your clients know when they can and cannot expect to hear from you. And also make sure that you have certain days of the week where you're just not working. It's important. On that same avenue about office hours, so I put my office hours in my email signature, so that way anytime I have communications with clients, they know what those are. But another thing you want to do when it comes to setting boundaries, a lot of setting boundaries is setting expectations with your clients. So setting boundaries can also mean you can expect to hear an email response from me within 24 hours, 24 to 48 hours. Typically, I say 24 hours. Why do you want to give that? Because you don't want clients to think you're always available. You might always be available. They might always be able to get a response from you quickly. But if you set the expectation up front, you can hear from me within 24 hours. That means that you're not allowed to be in my inbox, be in my text messages, be in my DMs, constantly trying to reach me when I've already set the expectation that you got 24 hours before you can expect a response from me. Now, after 24 hours or whatever time that you set, now it might be a little bit more appropriate for you to follow up again. But that initial part of it, you are letting them know this is my boundary. I'm not available 24/7. I do have other things to do. And so this is the boundary that I'm going to set. The other boundaries that you can think about setting when it comes to your business, a lot of it, like I said, is letting clients know how you will and will not work. Always demanding respect for yourself. You won't let clients talk to you a certain way. You're not going to let clients treat you a certain way. That's like, I can't stress that enough. People think that because they are paying you money, that means that they deserve or they are entitled to treat you a certain way. That's not the case. In any business, you do not have to take certain attitudes. You don't have to have people talk to you a certain way. And it is okay to fire clients if they are talking to you in a way that makes you feel disrespected, not valued. Let them go. That is a boundary that you can set. You can also say things like setting boundaries are your pricing's not up for negotiation, or the things that I'm saying to you aren't up for negotiation. That's a boundary. When you let people know that it is what it is, that's a boundary that you're setting. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with letting people know what you will and will not accept, the type of attitudes you will and will not accept. That's a type of boundary setting. So let your clients know up front when they can reach you, how they can reach you, what times they can reach you, and then when they can expect to hear from you. And if you always have clients who are trying to push those boundaries that you're setting, for example, if you have a client who, if you have set office hours and you know 5 o'clock comes around, you're not taking meetings, and this person is constantly trying to set a meeting with you at 5:30 every day. And maybe you've taken one because you want to provide good customer service, but now they think it's a habit. You let them know, I don't take meetings at this time. I did it the one time because I was trying, it seemed important to you. I was trying to do you a favor, but please use my booking calendar to schedule all meetings. I have one friend in her business. She was very frustrated because she didn't want her clients texting her all of the time. And she had gotten into a habit where people were texting her to book appointments with her. And she really wanted it done through her website. And so she was frustrated because all these people keep texting, and then she's having to go put it on her website so that way it goes away. It's not available on the website, but she has to mark it down in her booking calendar as well. So it's just all this extra work because people don't want to go on the website. So what she started doing, a boundary that she set, was I'm no longer going to take appointments via text message. So every time that you text me and ask me to make an appointment, I'm going to send you the link to my booking calendar. That's a boundary. That's saying I'm no longer available in this form of communication. You need to work your way over here and set an appointment this way. That's a way to set a boundary. Another way is the communication that you set with your clients. If you don't want your clients texting you, don't give them your phone number. Don't let them text you. You can say, I only talk business on email. I have some clients, some friends who, in their business, they get frustrated because their clients are texting them too much. I say it's perfectly fine to have a response that says, anything that's business related, I like to keep via email so I can have a record of it, so I can have a paper trail of it, and it helps me when I'm, planning my work for the day. I go through my emails. If it's via text, I'm going to miss it. I might forget. Please email me about anything that's business related. And every time a client breaks that rule, keep sending them to your email. It's just something we have to condition people to expect from us. We don't have to be available 24/7. We don't have to be on someone's beck and call. You do not owe anyone 24/7 of your time. Point blank period. You don't owe anyone that much amount of your time, no matter how much they are paying you. So really what it just boils down to, and I know this one's a shorter live, but what it boils down to is that boundaries are okay and boundaries are necessary. It's important to set boundaries in your business so that way you can protect your mental space, you can protect your mental health, you can take time for yourself or your family or your friends or anything else that's important in your life, and doing it in a way that doesn't cause you to stress out because you're worried about how your clients will feel if you're not, responding right away. When you set those expectations, when you set those boundaries early in your business, and you let people know this is how you run your business, this is what they can expect from you, you're letting them know what you will and will not accept and what type of behavior is and is not okay. And that prevents so much. It prevents the biggest one, like I said, is burnout. Because oftentimes, from what I've seen just working with clients, burnout happens when they are too available. Outside of having systems and workflows and automations in your business, when you're not charging enough and you are too available to your clients, you are going to get a lot of times shitty clients who don't respect your time, don't value your work, and it leads to burnout. So set those boundaries early. Let them know what they can expect from you and proceed accordingly. The good thing about setting our own boundaries is that we're allowed to break our own rules, right? We're allowed to take meetings late if we have to. We're allowed to work on the weekends if we want to. But I always say to make those things an exception and not the rule, because the more often you do it, the more likely you are to have clients that are going to keep pushing that boundary. They're going to keep trying to cross that line because you've started to indicate to them that it's okay. It's not really a boundary that you have. So make sure that you're setting realistic boundaries for yourself, things that matter to you, things that are important to you. Set those boundaries. There's nothing wrong with having boundaries in your business. So this one's a short live because it's very much just straight to the point. I like to be super specific with it. Boundaries are important. Keep them in your life, and I promise your business will be less stressful. I want to hear from you guys. What kind of boundaries do you set in your business? How do you let your clients know what they can and can't do? Let me know. Next Wednesday, we're going to be talking about self-care and why it's important as an entrepreneur to practice good self-care, one of which is setting boundaries. So make sure that you tune in next Wednesday. I may do it either a little later or a little earlier in the day. I haven't decided yet. I probably actually at some point will put a poll up here to see what time works best for you guys. But until next Wednesday, thank you so much for tuning in.